Kim is the Dream Business Creator and Coach. She has 25 years experience as a learning and development leader, facilitator, strategic sales performance executive, and top performing sales professional with wealth, corporate, and entrepreneurial experience. She's also consulted with executives in hundreds of leading North American and Fortune 1000 companies, as well as having started up and grown 8 businesses. So Kim knows what it takes to make a business successful and profitable. Kim also helps entrepreneurs avoid losing thousands of dollars in time and startup costs, incorporating a signature methodology called the Dream Business Creation Map. We're going to look at that tonight. It helps you uncover and create your dream business and a 3-year business blueprint that provides and produces cash flow in the first 90 days of operations. Not bad. There she is. There's Kim. Do you look like that tonight?
Actually, thanks for the introduction. Where's the picture?
You don't see the picture?
No. I'm
okay.
not.
That's weird.
But that's okay. I mean,
all right.
Yeah, I don't.
Huh. I'm sharing my screen.
I don't see it either, David.
Okay. All right. So here's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about why there's never been a better time to start your own business as an entrepreneur, what a dream business is, and how you can create yours, how to honor the voice in your heart that calls you to play a bigger game, easy strategies to jumpstart your dream business, and also how to attract your ideal customer and your dream business strategy. So we've got a lot of ground to cover tonight. So Kim, let's get going, okay?
Sure.
All right.
Is there any way that we can put up that dream business map?
What's that?
So there's just a lot of feedback.
Yeah, I know. All right. So, Kim, I want to talk about this. Why do you think there's never been a better time to start your own business as an entrepreneur?
Well, quite frankly, it's a trail that where the trail has been blazed, and the technology is available, the mentorship is available. I guess in the last 50 years, it's been all about employment, but now with downsizing and right sizing, and it's just a time that his time has come.
All right. I'm not arguing. I'm hearing a lot of that. I was actually spoke at a group called Happen last week, and a lot of them are struggling with getting a job and finding that ideal position. So a lot of them are looking for other ways to make a living, and I call it a plan B. What's your plan B? You need a plan B. But let's say you're in your business, okay, Kim? And
you're really echoing, David.
I know that. How about now? Is that better?
No.
Well, we're going to have to muscle through.
Okay.
Because we had it there for a second, and then it came back the echo. So what if we are working? What if what we're working on is stalling out, and not growing, and it's stagnant? And what happens if we are in our business and not getting the results we want? What happens to that dream business you talk about?
So, sorry, was it just the first line that you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, what you have to do is you always have to revisit your strategy. You always have to be looking for new clients and so forth. But most importantly, you need to stay true to yourself and what you're greatest at, what you're most passionate about, what your gifts are, and trust that there are ideal clients who want what you have to offer. And you stay with it. It's about persistence. Because if you are persistent and you're doing what you love or are greatest at, you're going to prevail.
Okay. All right. And how about getting that romance back? The love, the passion back for what it is we do.
Well, I think you just need to I think one of the biggest things that I've found in my past in particular is just having that vision of what you want your business and your life to be like, and really connecting with it and visualizing with it. To me, that's what it's all about. If you can really get into that vision, into that feeling place, things will unfold, and it'll get you through the tough times and the challenges. That's what that's my experience anyway.
So how do we connect to that vision? What do we have to do maybe to sort of recreate our vision and I guess, you know, Michael Gerber he has a program called the Dreaming Room where, you know, he puts entrepreneurs into a room and you dream and you vision and you dream big. So how do we, you know, realign and reconnect with that vision to, you know, to have it come back into play?
Well, I think it's always good to get together with friends, peers who have a common goal, who are looking to dream big and create their dream life and business, and just collaborate and share that energy and get reconnected. I know for me, I get up every morning at about 5:15, and I go over my goals, what the vision for my business looks like. And I just get reconnected. But doing it in a group setting with people with a like mind, there's nothing better. It really generates some great energy.
All right, so what I'm hearing you suggest is maybe create like a mastermind group, or maybe even, you know, get out more and network, do some business networking. Is that kind of what you're saying, or is it?
I absolutely agree. In fact, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're having your own business, you can't do it alone. If you do it in isolation, you will wither. It's so important to stay connected with like-minded people, and you know, to form a support group and a team that's going to support you. That's what's going to keep it alive. You know, if you're not going into the workplace and collaborating with peers, you know, it's the same thing. You have to have that support system in place. It's crucial.
All right. And we have to get rid of this echo. It comes and goes. What about aligning to our truest gifts then, Kim? You know, and having the permission to do what we're really gifted to do. How do we align to those truest gifts, and how do we start to recognize what those are?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, I mean, it's interesting. Part of my business is about guiding people to do that, and I think it kind of in three categories. There's your passions, there's your strengths or your gifts, and then there's also the unique impact and value that you bring to the table. So when you think of gifts, those are typically things you're hardwired for, that you're born with, whereas the value and impact you provide are typically, you know, things that you learn over a lifetime through challenges and experience and so forth. So I think it's just staying really connected to it. There's a number of things you can do. You can do certain assessments. Like one of my favorite that I love to connect with, and I've done it a couple of times, is Marcus Buckingham's Strengths Finder test. I think there's an upgraded version now, which is by Tim Rath, and it really helps you to identify your top 5 strengths or gifts. And it's just always being connected with that and always making sure that the things that you're best at are aligned in your business. That makes sense? Hello? David, are you still there? Hello?
I can hear you.
I can hear you, Kim.
Okay, I just
We've lost David. Yeah.
What if you're really good at a lot of things, Kim?
Well, it's my opinion that you roll as much of what you're great at as possible into your business. So, because you don't have to have just one kind of, how can I say this? So, for example, let's just say that you're a coach, but you're also a good connector. So you want to make sure you bring networking into the fold, or being a connector into the fold. I think it's about getting very clear about what you're greatest at and bringing as much of that as possible into your business by expanding it and have different elements.
Okay. Let's maybe take a few questions now from the group, and I'm going to, you know what I'm finding, Lydia, I had to mute you to cut back on the echo, and I'm not sure why that is. So I'm just going to mute you, and there's going to be echo. So any questions from anyone?
Unmuted.
Questions from anyone? No? All right. Save them for the end, and I'm just going to mute you again, Lydia. No offense.
Nope.
And let's forge ahead, because there's lots I want to get, talk to you about. What in your presentation, can you talk about the culmination of your quests? What do we need to know about that?
Well, it's interesting. My business, which is the Dream Business Creator, it's called. It helps people to create their dream business, which means a business that is aligned to their biggest passions and gifts and can be monetized and be sustainable, is a result of 4 quests that I've really had my whole life. Ever since I can remember, I had these 4 themes or quests that drove me in my life. The first one was, what is my life purpose? What was I put here on this planet to do? My second quest was, how can I be a successful entrepreneur? Because I've never liked working for someone else, even though, I was in corporate and I was a teacher, at the beginning of my career. I just was never great at working for other people, so I always wanted to know how I could be a successful entrepreneur. My third quest is how to achieve financial independence so I don't have to work for money. And what I mean by financial independence is, not selling your soul for money, but having multiple income streams so that you don't have to just be going from paycheck to paycheck. And then my fourth quest was how to make spirituality practical and aligned in my business life. Because I have to say, I saw a lot of hypocrisy out there, and I'm just all about being aligned and in integrity. So those were kind of those 4 elements that I brought together into what is now my dream business, which is helping other people to create their dream business aligned with their life purpose and do it in a way that they can be very successful financially.
All right. So what worked? What was your, methodology, and how did you create that, multiple streams of income too?
Well, and it can be inside and outside your business, because one of the ways that I've created it is through rental properties. So I've had a few different investment rental properties. So that's one way that to this day I still create that. I've also created within my business, I've created a online program, a 12-week online program that sells when sometimes is sold when I've been asleep. I've got an ebook that I've created. So those are my income streams right now. I've had other ones in the past, but my goal is to have 15 different income streams that are working for me, so I'm not just trading time for money.
Well, and okay, I was going to ask just that question actually, and that is, how do you get out of that game of trading time for money, which a lot of us do?
Absolutely. Well, if you're creating your dream business as an entrepreneur, you want to start off with that product or service that's going to be your bread and butter. I mean, you've got to start off that way, and that means trading time for money, and there's nothing wrong with that. But once you've gotten some successes under your belt, once you have a unique system and way of doing things, of providing a solution, then it's taking that and turning it into, and leveraging that content, if you will, that intellectual property, and turning it into multiple income streams like online programs, books, ebooks, audio series, podcasts. There's a whole number of ways that you can do it, but it's all about leveraging and repurposing content. And then that's within your business. Then, well, one of my favorites is real estate. I've always really liked it. And that one works really, really well. So it's both inside and outside your business. And then, of course, you can get into investments like, fixed income, investments and that kind of thing. But I digress. Within the context of your business, it's about repurposing your intellectual property and so forth to be able to sell things in different ways.
All right. So, and there's so much out there. There's so many people doing this now. The help's out there. I mean, the advice is out there. You just have to kind of reach out and ask, right?
Yep.
There's a lot of people selling books, like Jack Canfield, one of my favorite guys. He does courses now on how to sell your book and write your book and get your book going.
You know what, David? You know what I think? I completely agree with you. And there is a lot out there. And what the real key is being able to articulate your message and your ideal target market, if you will, and what their pains and challenges are, and being able to really articulate that well. That's what's going to draw people to you, because they'll go, oh my God, that's exactly what I'm looking for. That's exactly what the problem I'm looking to have solved, and that's how you're going to be able to differentiate yourself from other people out there, because there's lots of solutions and lots of people providing solutions.
Yeah. So how do you compete against that? How do you have that? Maybe you've really worked on perfecting that. Business. Having a business that's aligned to you, and you're tapping into your truest gifts, and you're saying all the right things to the right people. But there's a lot of competition. How do you fight that? Or do you fight it?
I don't think you fight it at all. What it comes down to is getting very, very clear on what your solution is and who you're providing that solution to. So, and David, I think you know this, it took me like a year and a half to get clarity around who my target audience is. Doesn't mean I only sell to my target audience or that they're the only ones attracted to me, but I market specifically to them. So who I specifically market to are new entrepreneurs, people just starting out, or people who are looking to start a business. That's who want to make sure they do it right the first time. They don't want to rack up tons of credit card debt. They want to make sure that they're doing it right the first time. So I kind of I get very clear on finding them, where are they, and what is my solution that is going to solve a specific problem for them. And even though need to get as narrow as possible, because then you create that intimacy with your target market, and they think, oh my God, she's speaking to me. It's exactly what I wanted. So it takes a while to get there. It really does.
Now you and I, we were talking a couple of weeks ago. You and I had a meeting before tonight, and we're suggesting that it's almost like the old school way of doing business. Picking up the phone, calling people, having meetings, having little brainstorming, planning sessions with your clients. Sitting down with them is the way to go. And that social media, it's good, but there's a lot of noise. There's millions and millions of messages being sent and traded back and forth. It's really hard for you to stand out and be unique, where, maybe swim in a smaller pond and be a lot more perhaps focused in your marketing strategy. I'm thinking the old way is actually probably going to become the new way again.
Sure, and you really hit on something good, which was the in-person thing. When I first ventured out to start this business a couple of years ago, I was so set on the online component, which, I'm glad I've got it, and I'm glad I've got my multiple products, but I think where I'm going now is in person, seeing the people, being out there, being in front of people and connecting with them. I think nothing's going to ultimately replace that, and especially when you're starting out, people want to get to know you and what you're about. So having that in-person live component is really important.
Yeah, I tend to agree. And hold on to the questions, because I really want you to have all your questions, start writing them down, because we're going to have another time for asking and some coaching too, hopefully, if that's okay, Kim.
Sure.
We talked about, getting grounded in your true calling and your unique life purpose. Are there any other ways to uncover that if you're sort of not 100% sure?
Well, what I believe is your unique life purpose and true calling is really the combination of your passions, your strengths, the unique value that you provide, your unique personality and style, all of those things layered together to represent what I call your sweet spot. So I believe that is your true calling and life purpose. If you have been given certain gifts, if you're really passionate about certain things, if you have specific, like when you work with people, they come away better because of their work with you. All of those things combined, I believe, is your true calling and unique life purpose. So otherwise, it's not you. You don't have to go searching for it. I think you need to uncover it. And I always knew I was a teacher. I always knew that. But I started off in the high school, public school system, and there was something missing. And it took me a while to figure out it was working with, entrepreneurs. And I mean, now I know that is my true calling and life purpose. It took a while, but I was always drawn to being on my own, even though I did consult with corporate for a lot of years. So I think you don't have to search for it. You can find it based on those factors. That's my opinion. That's my point of view. Anyway.
But you can't rush it either. It sounds like you need to be a little bit patient and let it sort of unfold, right?
Oh, and you need to marinate with it. You need self-reflection. You need to do some soul searching. Absolutely. And I think it's important, and I think it's important to roll that into your own business. Otherwise, it's either going to be a struggle, or you're going to lose interest.
Right. I was working with a client today, and I was reviewing her business plan. Right. One of these young entrepreneurs down at Youth Employment Services. Yeah. And she came in and she said, "Here's my plan," and it was a nanny service. So she was going to outsource nannies and provide nannies to young couples. And I said, "So how's it going?" And I just sort of started in this role last week. So I've just, I've met her before in teaching workshops there, but I haven't really connected to her like this on a more personal business coaching level. And she said, "Really, I'm not moving anywhere with my business. I don't, I don't know why. I'm not going anywhere." And I said, "Well, so let me ask you, do you really like it?" She said, "Truthfully, no, I don't like it." I went, "Great."
You know what? You better love it.
Yeah, and
if you don't love it, it's not going to have legs.
Yeah. So I asked her. I said, "So what do you really love?" "Well, I love kids, but I don't want to deal with parents who are going to nickel and dime me because they don't think my services are worthwhile, finding them a perfect nanny kind of thing." And
right.
I said, "So why are you doing it?" "Well, because I'm in this program, and this is what I said I was going to do." And I said, "Well, I'm giving you permission to do what you love." And she went, "Really?" And I said, "Yeah, really." And what we came up with is she loves music and she loves working with kids. So we're going to explore a couple things. One is doing a kids show on Rogers Cable TV in Toronto. There is none. And the other is her doing musical performances to teach kids about music and development and to love themselves. Because she had a car accident and her body took a bit of a beating in that car accident. And she's never quite been 100%. So she wants to teach kids to love and respect themselves and their bodies.
Oh, that's
through
nice.
Music and talks.
I'm hearing some passion in there.
Yeah, and that's what I got. And it's like, it's just a matter of, well, it's okay, you can. Giving somebody permission to do that.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. Is that what you do with your clients too, in terms of?
Oh, absolutely. Well, in fact, that dream business map you put up just kind of, it shows my process. You had it there a minute ago.
And then going right back. There it is. So walk us through a little bit of the process. We're going to get more into it, but what's this dream business creation map?
Well, my great friend and colleague, Patricia Cambich, came up with this for me. I just love it. It's just in game board format, depicts what I say is a creative, intuitive, and practical journey from leaving corporate doesn't have to necessarily be from corporate, but entering the world of entrepreneurship. So,
or shifting what you're doing, even, right?
Yeah. Okay. Or towards your dream business.
Yeah.
I guess it's just a lot of the women that I work with, a lot of women, some men too, but a lot of women, and it's typically people who are coming out of corporate and just go, you know what, I'm done. I want to do my own thing now. I'm smart. I've been I want to start making the money that I'm, the corporation's paying. So the way that this works is you start, and you're in the mode of inquiry. Okay, so how do I know what to, I'm going to start my own business. How do I know how do I know what's best? If I'm from corporate, do I consult? Do I do something new? What do I do? So what I suggest is then you go into discovery mode. So you take the time to self-explore, do that soul searching. And as you can see, if you go down to the bottom left, you find your sweet spot, you know, and what I mentioned earlier, where you find what you're most passionate about, where you're most impactful, where your greatest gifts and strengths are, and that little gold, you know, thing in the middle of the Venn diagram is that kind of where those things overlap end up being your superpowers, or those things that you absolutely should be rolling and aligning into a business. So, you know, by going through that exploration, and I have a process that I take people through to really go deep into this, then you create what I call, and I haven't put it on here, your superstar formula, which includes your superpowers, passion, strengths, and all of that. And you've got this formula that you can then align to your dream business, whether it's consulting, coaching, starting up a holistic practice, being a nutritional coach, whatever you want it to be, you want to make sure you put as much of the best parts of you towards that. So that's what that bottom left piece is there.
Yeah. And we'll talk about the roadblocks and things like that, and clarity and how to get clients. So let's get to the sweet spot.
Sure.
You have passion intersecting with impact and strengths and your superpowers. Whoa. Superpowers. I want to know about
Superpowers.
Yeah.
You want to know about your superpowers?
Yeah. So you know, there's a fear of taking what we're passionate about and turning it into a business. Like this lady today that I was working with, this young woman, Catherine, you know, her fear was, you know, man, I don't know, can I make money at this? And I said, well, are you going to make money doing what you hate to do? You know?
Right.
So can you make money at what it is you're passionate about? I'm going to go back. Can you make money at your, you know, your strengths and your passion? A lot of people have a little bit of fear around that, right?
Sure, and I can understand that, but there's a number of ways that you can bring passions and strengths and that into your business. I mean, I can't say unequivocally right across the board, yes, you can, but I think there's a way to align it at the very least. You know, some things you might not be able to make money at, so you have to be able to find out what all of those things are and align as much into your align as much as you can into your business as possible. I mean, I can't just say right off the top, but it's been my experience that you can. If you're being guided, if you intuitively feel that you want to become an entrepreneur and you've got a burning desire inside you, there's usually a business there for you. I think you need to take a leap of faith.
Wow.
That's a bold statement, but I believe that. Doesn't mean you're not going to have tough times, doesn't mean you're going to have some tough paychecks, but, you know, and I'll, you know, be really honest, it's not for the faint of heart. I mean, you've got to have that burning why. And I'll tell you right now, if you don't have that burning why, and if you're not aligning things around your passions, you know, you've got to have some good financial backing, because to me, you've got to have that. That's table stakes.
All right, so your burning why. What's your why?
My why? I am absolutely passionate about people living their life purpose, doing the work that they're meant on this earth to do, and doing it as an entrepreneur. I've seen so many people. I've got so many whys. Like, don't get me started. But you know, for 7 years I was a sales performance consultant, and I worked with, you know, a whole bunch of Fortune 1000 organizations, and I saw all these incredibly talented people being downsized and, you know, searching for like over a year to find their next job, and they had to fit who they are and what they know into a box. And I'm about, like, live your life, live it big. Doesn't mean that you're not going to have some tough times, but that's my why. I'm very, very passionate about it.
So you got to
also, and just finally, I can really, when I talk to people, I can see what their brilliance is, and I just want them to live that brilliance.
Wow.
That's my why.
Okay. Yeah. We're very much aligned. So
Yeah,
you want to connect with your why. You want to connect with your passion. You want to connect with your superhero strengths, and
Yes.
and then what's the impact you have with
Hey,
those?
can I ask you something, David?
Yeah.
What's one of your superpowers? What's one of your superpowers? What do you do just absolutely, you're absolutely great at that seems to be tough for other people? And I'd like to ask our participants the same thing as well. I want
All
them
right.
to think of
Well,
a
it's
superpower.
not leading webinars, obviously. Well, at least with the technical challenges that I've had. But
What's one of your
I
superpowers?
do like I do like interviewing and facilitation. I really do. I love it. I come alive.
Yeah, you do.
So let's hear from Lydia.
You do.
Lydia, you there?
I'm here.
What's
You want me to
one
talk
of your
first, do you?
whys? What's one of your whys?
Are we talking about strengths or passions?
Like your why?
Superpower.
Why are you doing what you're doing?
Why am I doing what I'm doing?
We talked about it last week.
Yeah, because I'm involved with kids and activity, and I believe that kids today need to be active because they're not. I also I love to see kids with an opportunity to be on a stage and perform because they don't get that, and to be part of a team.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, I got to
And
mute you
Lydia,
again.
what's one of your
For some reason, you're causing. I don't know why. So I'm coming back to Lydia.
Okay.
All right, thanks, my dear. What about you, Steve? What's one of your whys?
I bought a franchise in the healthcare area, and the why is because I'm very passionate about health and being healthy and offering unique products that will help make practitioners treat their patients better.
Nice.
And Danny, I know you're not there yet, but you probably have a why inside you.
A why inside me?
Yeah, what's your why? Like if you were to get into your own business, why would you do it? What's the change you want to affect on the planet?
Because going back to what Kim was saying about being guided in things that you feel that, you know, in your heart you should be on the road to doing, I think one of the things that I like to get into and why I want to do it is helping people to move forward. Never believed in, the whole thing, I feel like I'm stuck. I don't believe in stuck. But some people do feel stuck, and I'd like to be one of those people that would help people in moving forward.
Beautiful.
Wow. I like
that. Kind of
that.
sums it up.
Yeah, she's a little dynamo, Kim.
Wow. I really like that.
I do too.
Because being stuck, that's a hard place to be. I really like that. I've never heard that as someone's why before. I like that.
So what if your why, what if the passion isn't enough, Kim, on those times where it looks bleak, where it's like you don't know where your next sale is going to come from, or you don't know if you'll ever get a client again. And I've been there personally, What do you do to challenge your clients to do in those moments?
Take a break. I have to be honest, I like working with people who have, how do I say this, believe in a power higher than themselves. I don't want to get, to really go deep inside and connect with that power and take a break. And also, you know what, you're going to have challenges. You got to work through them, and you will work through them. So it's journal, take a break. It really depends on the individual. And trust me, I've been through a lot of it, so I'm an expert. And it's almost like you go through this dip, this valley, and you come on the other side, and it's like wow. It's like it was meant to happen to make you stronger. So I believe just keep going.
Yeah.
If you know you're on the right path, if this is your passion and you know it's the right time, you connect, you take a break, you connect, and you move through it. And you get support.
Yeah. Oh, support's important. I think it's okay to have, I've had temper tantrums.
Love it.
And
break something.
And I've yelled at the at the universe, if you want to, or God, whatever. And I've done it twice in 2 years, and the next day it was like, oh my God, things just opened up, right? Yep. And I had to get tough with God. I said, look at man, I'm here, I'm doing the work, I need your help here,
Absolutely.
And I went on a walk. Like I went on a walk on this walking track, and people must have thought I was like, losing it. I call it my, I had a real mental health moment. And I was just yelling and walking and just getting it out physically and emotionally. And boy, did it ever clear up some space and energy.
It's just clearing energy.
Yeah. And
you never know. You never know. I think that's fantastic, David. I think it's fantastic to do that.
Yeah, or clean, or I have boxing gloves that I'll take to the gym.
Clean?
Yeah, clean.
Well, that wouldn't be my choice. I like the boxing gloves.
Yeah, I know. Well, if anybody needs cleaning, just get me upset, okay?
Okay, I'll remember that.
So let's look at tapping into our strengths. Some of us, are doing it in our business. Whoop, little typo, sorry. And you've heard Michael Gerber. You and I both know Michael, the author of the E-Myth Revisited, a book that I really recommend everybody gets on this call tonight if you don't have it already. How do we get clear then on those truest strengths and get them really working profitably for us, Kim? Like, okay, so we got our why, we got our passion. Now we got to turn this into money. How do we turn it into money?
Okay, so I just want to be clear on your question then. So
I think it's the second one.
Oh, you mean the 90% of activities?
Yeah.
So one of my mentors is very clear that 90% of the activities you do should revolve around your strengths and delegate the rest. If it ain't your genius, it ain't your job. I really believe that, because you want to be just doing what you're great at every day, and you need to have a team. Like I've got and I don't mean full-time team, but I mean when it comes to technical stuff, I know at high level, but I would mess things up. So I've got a web guy, I've got a virtual assistant, I've got someone who does my, for my webinars, I have someone who does all my desktop publishing. I have a content strategy consultant. I have a social media consultant. It's not people that you have on full time, but you want to have a team around you that are great at the parts that you aren't great at. And I mean, you have to, obviously budget. You can't, pay them, tons of money all the time. Oh, and you need to have but for me, I'm a good writer, but I'm not a great copywriter, so I have someone who really helps with all that too. But you really need to for you to be really successful, you need to spend most of what you're doing on what you are greatest at and let other people help with the
And
rest.
that's how you can be more profitable, right?
100%.
Yeah, I know.
100%.
People like to do their own bookkeeping. It's like, why? Is that really, helping your business? It's like,
Oh my God.
give it off.
No way. I give that to someone else. I mean, look at it.
And for those who are in a bit of a cash flow crunch with web development, I just met a wonderful woman on the weekend at a business event I was at, Rochelle Morris, from the Ontario Centres of Excellence. And they're located on Front Street West in Toronto. It's oce-ontario.org. They have a program where they'll hook you up with a student to help you with your web and online development, free of charge. Free of charge.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I mean,
And
I think that's fantastic. And when you want to go to the next level, you want to make sure that you can work with someone who can help you from a strategic perspective to make sure that your content. I mean, to do the technical stuff, absolutely, but you want to make sure that you're right on the money in terms of the appeal of your website from a strategic perspective.
right, and also the writing is solid, and the messaging is okay. So the superstar formula. How do we start to be like these people? And am I weird if I say I want to be like Linda Carter on the right?
No, I don't think that's weird at all.
Okay.
I want to be like Linda Carter too.
I know. Don't we all?
Do you want me to talk about this?
Yeah.
So one of the exercises I'll take people through when I help them to go deep around getting to know their superstar formula is once we determine your passions, determine your strengths, your unique impact, I have everybody do the superstar stand. So can everyone humor me right now? I don't know if you're in the position to do this, but I would like everyone to stand up right now, including you, David. Can everyone stand up?
Standing up.
Okay.
Everyone stand. Good. Everyone stand up, and I want all the ladies to stand like Linda Carter, and I want the men to stand like Linda Carter, and I want the gentlemen to stand like Superman. And I want the gentlemen to stand like Superman. And this is the I call it the Wonder Woman pose. And I watched this TED TV special from this woman named Amy Cuddy, and she said if you take this power pose stand, where you stand with your shoulders back, your legs apart, hands right on your hips, and you just stand in your power pose, within 2 minutes, it can actually change your physiology, reduce your cortisol levels, and just help you to become the Wonder Woman and the Superman that you are. So everyone just stand like that, big and tall, until you feel who you are. Feel your superstar form. Feel your superpowers.
I love it.
Yeah, so that's the power pose, and that's going to help you get connected with your superpower.
So you should do that every morning.
You know what? And to your point, David, when you're feeling really down, or you might be going to do a presentation, or you're getting stuck, just stand in this pose for 2 minutes, and it will shift your physiology. Something as simple as this, standing there for 2 minutes.
I love it.
Because we're all equal, right? We're all equal, worthy, deserving, and powerful. And just standing and acknowledging the superstar that you are is going to make all the difference if you do it consistently.
I love it. And, Tony Robbins used to get you clapping, standing up and clapping. Yes, 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 right? And it totally, every time I've seen him speak, he talks about the same thing. Change your physiology and you change your psychology.
Totally.
Now, what's this thing called the Superstar Formula? What is it?
It's that, when we were looking at the Dream Business Creation Map.
Yeah.
And there was the passions, strengths, and your unique value or an impact. It's the Superstar Formula is a combination of those three things plus your unique personality and style. That is what is your Superstar Formula. And I have a process that I take people through to really get clear about that. And then what you do is you just make sure that the various elements in that Superstar Formula is aligned in your business. And I do have a process that I take people through to do that.
But you also talk about overcoming the obstacles of doubt, fear, our beliefs about money, people, success. And what it does is it pulls us off our Superstar Formula. How do we get back out of those, away from those, little niggly thoughts and beliefs and obstacles and back into overdrive?
Stand in your power pose.
Okay.
Stand in your power pose. Go for that walk. I mean, it's different for everyone, but just think of that fear, negativity, and resistance as a pit stop, and just don't dwell there too long. You got to go into it. You got to feel it. You've got to acknowledge it. There's a few tools that I suggest with people, but one is, Robin Sharma.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of my mentors, and he says
The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari, great book.
Monk Who Sold His Ferrari. One of the things that he says, it's one of my favorite tools for dealing with fear, negativity, and resistance, is lean into fear, because 90% of your fears are only 1 inch thick. So if you're able to stand and lean into your fears, you can get through them. And you can break through to a whole world of possibilities.
And that's where getting the support, the mentorship, the coaching, whatever it is you need, get it, for your business.
And the biggest thing is just don't give up.
Yeah.
There's a way to do it. And you might not be apparent, but don't give up.
All right, now we got all our gifts. We're aligned with our gifts. We're aligned with our vision, our purpose, our why. Now we got to take this thing to market, right? And we want to create, business and sales and clients and financial independence, hopefully, right?
Yes.
So any ideas on how to do this? Some
Certainly.
things that are working out there? What do you like?
Well, I mean, these are just the if you see that the top left there, where the yellow is. I mean, once you're clear on your business idea, you're going to start getting clients. But then once you know what your business is going to be, you want to create a 3-year vision. What is your vision, that your business is going to look like 3 years from now? And based on that 3-year vision, and I also have a process that I use to get people aligned on their actual mission and values, then what you want to do is you want to create a plan for success, what I call your dream business blueprint, and you want to have 3-year goals and tactics to achieve these 6 areas. So what are your products and services going to be? How can you create multiple income streams? How are you going to attract customers? And what are how are you going to create customer loyalty in year 1, year 2, and 3? What are your various products going to be? How are you going to innovate? What are the different business processes that you're going to put in place over the next 3 years? What are your sales going to be over the next 3 years? And how are you going to promote and explode your profile, your brand, and your marketing? So it's once you know what your business is, you need to make sure that you create a plan that revolves around 3 years. 3 years is a really good time frame to do it, around these areas, and then create goals and tactics to achieve those 3-year goals in these areas. I know that's a lot that I just said in one.
No, but it makes sense. It really does.
Yeah.
And so you need to sort of set goals in each area, right?
Yes.
Yes. Who are your customers? How are you going to reach them? What are some ways that you can make money in and outside of your business? What are the products and services that you're going to, launch? How are you going to get them to market?
Yes.
Are you going to be a wholesaler, a reseller? Are you going to hire other people to do the selling for you?
Yes.
What are your financial goals? What do you want to make? A lot of people don't even know what they want to make
Exactly.
and what they want to earn. And then, what's your overall look, feel, branding, impression that you're trying to create out in the marketplace, so that when somebody says, oh, I just, worked with Kim. Oh, yeah, Kim, Freedom Street Inc., right? So, yeah.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely. So it's important, to have a plan, a 3-year plan, and then, of course, tactic 1 and 2 and 3-year tactics to achieve that plan. And so many entrepreneurs just, fly by the seat of their pants, just go, well, I'm just going to start the business. It's so important to have a vision and a plan. You don't want to get, wrapped up in just creating it, but you want to have that so you know where you're heading and how you're going to get there.
You're right, because I remember speaking at at a chamber up in north of Whitby. I won't name names, and sorry, Steve, it wasn't in your area, Steve. It was actually north of you. And I asked the participants at the chamber meeting that, okay, well, how many of you have a business plan, and what do you think the percentage of chamber members in the crowd that day had a business plan?
20%?
Yeah, you're not far off the map. 25.
Really?
25%. That's brutal.
Well, you know what? A plan is going to make the difference between struggling and thriving.
Right. Yeah. Vision is one of your hot topics.
Yep.
And a hot point. Talk to us about vision. Where do we start in terms of creating a vision, and why is that such a passion for you to develop your vision?
Well, I've just experienced in my life, whenever I've had a vision and I've visualized, visualized what I wanted to achieve. So if I have this, I could give you 20 examples, but I guess I'm just very passionate about the power of vision and visualization in particular, and the ability for the universe to bring you that vision. That's why I'm so passionate about it. And vision is great because it gets people out of their heads and it takes the why to a whole nother level. And it's also the tension between where you are now and the vision that makes things happen. If you don't have vision, how are you going to know you're successful?
Mm-hmm. Well, even the Bible states where there's no vision, the people perish, right?
Right.
For those of you on the call tonight, most of you know I did a radio show for a number of years, and it was Kim's fault. I took a vision workshop that she had back in 2002, 3 weeks after a job loss, and it was in that workshop that I created this vision of running my own consulting, coaching, training business and launching a radio show. And that work for up until now was born out of that one vision workshop that Kim did back in May of 2002.
It's so cool.
And we're still friends.
We are.
And, you know,
Very
we met little Tom St. Louis, and yeah.
Yep.
Any final thoughts on vision? What's your vision for the future?
My vision?
Yeah.
Yeah, my 3-year vision is that I have 1,000 thriving entrepreneurs as part of my tribe, and we travel together to exotic locations once a year to celebrate our success.
Okay, can we ask the participants what their vision is, what they're thinking it is? So
Yes.
I'm going to unmute you, Lydia, if I can. No, you got to unmute yourself. So, Steve, what's your vision 1 to 2, 3 years from now?
I want to be a part of Kim's tribe. and go to exotic ports. Oh yeah, geez. To travel once a year like that to exotic ports, that'd be a vision, that's for sure.
Okay, cool. I'm with you, man.
Yeah. Well, my vision is kind of lengthy, David. I'll just summarize it, I guess. I'm trying to build a small medical distribution company where I use my franchisor's successful business model, hire some people to look after existing customers and help generate revenue. I want to be the primary distributor that arranges seminars, training seminars for health practitioners. I like my best customers to say that I'm very reliable. I keep my promises, and I'm trying to do the right things and helping them be better at their craft.
Beautiful. Take
Nice.
the word small out of there.
Right.
You are. And Danny, do you have a vision for yourself, your life, your business?
Oh, I think I have a whirlwind of visions. Kind of gets to be a little bit messy in your head if you have too many of them. But
I think there's medication for that, Danny.
I believe so too. Which one would you recommend, David?
The blue pill.
The Buddha pill.
The Buddha pill. I think breaking it down to what Kim said with the 1 and 3 years. I think within 1 year, I would like to finish my coaching certifications, and I'd like to have that under my belt because that seems to be important to me. And after I kind of got that done on a personal level, along with like little mini goals set along the lines, within a 3-year period, I would like to have the business established. So I'd really like to be on my feet and running with it. And also on a smaller scale, within 1 year, I really like what you said, Kim, in regards to multiple incomes.
Right.
I'd really like to focus on that this year as well.
Nice.
And putting into practice a lot of what you said in regards to that whole alignment, aligning your passions and your strengths. I think I need to work on myself a little bit more with that and then
Nice.
figure out how I can align that down the road. So thank you for that. That was actually very insightful.
Oh, you're welcome.
Excellent. And Lydia, do you want to? There you are, Lydia. I think. Are you unmuted?
I figured I'd wait till she was done.
Okay.
I muted myself because you had unmuted me, and I figured it was causing problems, so I muted myself.
Thanks.
Anyway, I think that's part of what we've had as a business a problem is we haven't really had a vision. Probably you know that, David, because you talked to us. And so I haven't really clarified that, but I know one of the first things we want to do is get clear on where we're going and make sure that we have a plan for where we want to get to. That would be I'd say within the year. In 3 years, I have this goal that I want to be selling across the country. I think I mentioned that to you the first time I talked to you.
Yeah.
And being financially independent is definitely there. So,
Nice.
I'm all over that.
Yes.
Excellent. Thanks. Any final thoughts, questions? Because we're now out of time. So any questions of Kim that you want a little coaching on? Because she's...
I have one. You talk about that multi-line income.
Yes.
I've actually not heard that before. I've heard things like, you need to be focused. You need to be on track of one thing. Don't get your mind, because I tend to fly in all directions
Sure.
and want to do 15 things at once. So when you're talking about multi-lines of income, I agree with what you're saying, but I just don't know how to make that happen without being in a mess in my head.
Sure. Well, I think the most important thing is that you do start with your bread and butter product or service, whatever that is. And once you have a handle on that, then you want to take your intellectual property, content, your knowledge, and turn it into one thing, like an ebook, an online program, depending, and just do it one at a time until, and you don't want to be overwhelmed with it. But there's a really good process to make that happen.
Okay.
It could be like you have a webinar on staging an event, or like that Jessica wants to do, right? How to have your best event, and then you have a webinar and people can sign up for that program. You know what I mean, Lydia?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And if I could add one more thing, because you hadn't heard of multiple income streams, there's a really great formula for financial independence that I don't know if you've heard of Robert Kiyosaki, but Robert Kiyosaki wrote this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Cash Flow Quadrant, and he defines financial independence as when your passive income exceeds your expenses. So you're able to live off the passive income from things like online programs, books, ebooks, rental income, that kind of thing. So just thought I'd throw that in there too, because it's a really cool concept.
Does that answer your question, Lydia?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. I'm going to mute you again. Bad echo. I don't know why that's causing the whole thing to go wonky. So, Kim, shameless self-promotion time. Anything, any offers, anything that's upcoming that we should know about?
Sure. First of all, that's not my picture. It's just
no, that's for next week. I'm promoting next week's webinar.
Oh, okay, great.
But I'll go back to the beginning where we can see your picture. Hang on. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, if you'd like to, in terms of an offer, just if you want to check out my website at, I'm just going through a rebranding right now, but I'm at www.dreambusinesscreator.com. You can also check out my online program at www.dreambusinesscreationsystem.com. And if you would like to have a complimentary 45-minute strategy session, I'd be thrilled and honored to do that with you. And you can reach me at kim@dreambusinesscreator.com.
Beautiful. Thank you, Kim.
Well, thank you. This was fun.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Next week, we're going to have Jennifer McLean talk about her, we're going to get into our bodies and let go of some of that schmutz we build up from the stress and the strain of life. And we're going to do a little body dialogue with Jennifer McLean. Plus, she'll share her winning online business formula. I just love Jennifer McLean. Just log on to Healing with the Masters and tap into some of her ongoing workshops and classes. That's next week. And then the week after, we'll close with Jennifer Huff. So we got 2 really good sessions still to go. And Kim, we had a great session tonight. I just want to thank you so much, and thank everybody for being on the session tonight.
I like the intimacy of this. This is great.
Thanks, everybody. Have a really good week, and just stay well, okay?
Thank you. Thank you, Kim.
Ciao, ciao.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Thanks, Kim.
Take care.